Okay, so look, 3D printers, pretty cool. And I had the idea to build one. I don't know how they work. I don't know how to build one, but we'll figure that out as we go along.
Oh, lies, lies, lies. And everywhere is lies.
So look, 3 months ago, I decided to build a printer. Here's a time lapse of how that went. To order a few extra parts that I'm going to be using to get the build back on track. So what I did is, okay, what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to check that this still works. I hope it does, and that the shield still works. If those two still work, then that'll make the costs a lot less from the mess up. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so you're probably wondering how we went from the time lapse to me explaining how everything just went to shit, right? So basically, I don't have the clip anymore, but this is what happened. This is the PC that we're using to do the coding and everything with the laptop. I mistakenly short-circuited the Arduino board and it just killed the whole laptop. But if you're wondering why it looks how it looks now, it's because apparently I live with a bunch of scavengers who just took it apart and took parts out of it the second that they heard that it wasn't working anymore. So screw them, but that's basically what happened. And then I found these boards that are going to be the border of the printer. They used to be chair legs for like a chair.
Look, ramps!
We can use these as ramps!
So let me just show you. Why am I explaining it? I'll just show it. Yeah, and then these are gonna be the two poles. I made the holes too big, so I'm gonna have to have a structure that's gonna either be welded onto this to hold it down, like one of those T-joins, or I'll figure that out after, but yeah. And then these bolt down to hold it. Okay, I had already started working on the hot end part, and I forgot that I wasn't recording. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out rectangle bases that will mount the hot end to the printer. I later replaced these with wood because the plastic low-key sucked ass. So in the next frame or two, if you see a change from plastic to wood, that's why. Mount the bearings in place, right? I used to use zip ties, that's why these holes are here, but that was shitty. So now what I did is the bearing goes in there, right? And I cut these to shape that hold down on it, so they like clamp it down in place, then you just bolt it in, and it looks very scuffed and all that, but it works way better than zip ties. So if it works, it works, man. So if you can ignore the wires and the lack of engineering skill whatsoever, it actually doesn't look too bad. I think it looks pretty sick. You see, so this is how it's gonna look. It looks kind of clean. This is the back part that nobody's actually gonna see because it's the back part. And if we flip it over, this is actually the back part, and I'm actually stupid. This is the part that nobody's actually gonna see. So looks pretty sick. I think it looks pretty sick anyway. Alright, so I'm doing the y-axis, right? And look at this, bro. Engineering at its best.
Okay.
Just look at this. This is what's gonna hold the y-axis thing. So you're probably wondering why I didn't just use a bearing like everybody else does. When I was ordering these parts at the time, they were all out of stock. So I had the smart idea of just using this. So I built it and I think it looks sick as hell. You might be wondering if this is actually an eraser. It is, and I'll show you how it mounts. Also, this is the access. I didn't film me assembling any of it. Why am I even posting a YouTube video on this? I don't even know, because half of the steps have just been done off camera, but it's fine. Everything going forward is going to be filmed, I swear. I swear. But this is sick as hell, bro. This is actually sick. So what I have to do here is I came up with this method of mounting these stepper motors to the frame of this thing. So dude, what I'm basically doing is I'm just I'm welding this bolt onto this thing so it can mount onto this thing properly. So I don't know if I explained earlier in the video or not, or if I was too ashamed and I'm just hiding it. But if I did, after the incident that occurred, we didn't just go buy another Arduino. And now we upgraded. We didn't just take that L. We stepped up, you know. So got this. Ooh, that's way better. Or even though. This is what I'm gonna be using now since the Arduino decided to die, which was my fault, but yeah, this is what we're using now. Yeah, I already also installed we're using the DVR8825s, I think that's the what they called, and this is a SKRV 1.4 board, and hopefully this works better and I don't burn it this time. This is what the wiring looks like right now. Ignore the table and it filled with, can you like ignore the table filled with like junk in the background, but this is what the wiring looks like. It's actually pretty neat. Remember when I said that this would be the back of the printer? Yeah, no, yeah, this is the front of the printer. I'm just dumb. I don't know back from right apparently, but back from right, what the hell? But
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I swear every time I start recording anything, I lose my 4 brain cells that I already had, bruh. It's actually insane. But to go to the bottom now, I'm gonna, hold on. I'm mounting the power supply. But talk normally, nigga. I'm mounting the power supply at the bottom of the printer. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so this power supply died. So I don't know if you can tell by the defeat in my voice, but this is the part of the project where everything just decided to die. I swear to you, like stuff just started going wrong here for some reason, and my phone, out of all things, also died. The phone I was using to record the video, yeah, it just decided, fuck it, I'ma just die, I guess, and I had to replace a lot of stuff. Suicide was contemplated, not gonna lie, but we pulled through, I guess. just lie and say that the video ends there, that the printer worked and everything is perfect, but it's not. So what's not shown in that clip is these are the axes that work for the X, Y, and Z, right? And they're working perfectly. Then when we come over to the extruder end over here, these last two supply the power for the E1 and E2 extruders. They don't work. It's supposed to be passing through a 12-volt current, but when I use the multimeter on it, it's just not supplying anything. So this board is dead. I tried for weeks, I swear, and I tried going over the code and everything. These last two just have absolutely no power coming through them. So the only thing we can do is replace the board. So everything else works on the printer, right? I had a test run and I tried to print out a calibration cube, which it ran through successfully, but because the E1 extruder or E2 is not working, we can't extrude any filament. So that's literally the last problem. So now there was literally just one thing left to do: go online, get a new board, and we're home free. Holy shit. What? These are all out of stock though. You see, all of the reasonably priced ones are out of goddamn stock. Hell no.